Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Samanta Chakravalesu Atra Gachantu Devata Saddhammang Munirajasa Sunantu Saggamokkadang Dhammasavana Kalu Ayang Bhadanta Dhammasavana Kalu Ayang Bhadanta Dhammasavana Kalu Ayang Bhadanta Namo tassa bhagavatu arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavatu arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavatu arahato samma sambuddhassa Yocha pubbe pamajjitva paccaso nappamajjati So imang lokang pabhaseti abbhamutto chandimati. Sadhguru. Good evening, everyone. Personally, I'm very happy to be here in California. This is Sacramento, which is the capital of California. It's not too far from San Francisco, 400 miles away from Los Angeles. And I'm glad to talk to all of you who are 3,000 miles away in Florida. And so that's a wonderful opportunity for me to say something that could be beneficial to you and your children. All of you are sitting here are so fortunate because listening to the Dhamma Savana is one of the most important part of being a refined person. When I meant by refined person, what I meant was a Buddhist. If you have your children, you have to tell that being a Buddhist means not a person who is following any religion like other religions in the world. Being a Buddhist is a person who is refining wisdom and refining compassion. Refining means cultivating wisdom and compassion. There are two major organs in our body. One of the most vital organs are brain and the heart. So when you see the Buddha in the center in front of us, I see some homes. You have the Buddha image in front of you, and that Buddha image is not representing a person. There was a person called Buddha, but the Buddha is a state of existence. That state is infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. When I say I am a Buddhist, that means I am refining my wisdom and I am refining my compassion. When you refine wisdom, you can see things clearly. What is happening around you, what is going on in the world, you can see things clearly. That is what the wisdom do. When you see things clearly, then you also see something very important. That is the relationship of this and that. For example, if your light is on in your house, that is related to several other things. Like the electricity has to be there, and the wire should be connected, and the bulb should be good, and it is connected properly. When all these things are connected and you turn the switch on, then you get the light. Because of those 5 conditions, now you have the light. And when you cut off at least 1 or 2 of the causes and conditions, you lose the light. When you come into the room and turn the light on, and if there's no light, you can't even see anything in the house, something is wrong. So you should know either bulb is gone, dead, or the electricity is not there, cut off from the main switch or somewhere in the house, or the connection was bad, maybe a rat or somebody cut the wire, and some things like that happen, there's no light. Now this is called cause and effect relationship. Everywhere, anywhere in the world, anything happen or don't happen, that is the result of causes and conditions. Now all the scientists in the world, chemists, physicists, or any other scientists or people in technology, what they do is finding the causes and conditions, and they put together those things in proper way, according to the way it should be, and then they create things that was never there before. Now we have seen planes, we have seen rockets, we have seen all these powerful vehicles and all the other things that we see, including our computer that is in front of you all the time. All these are result of finding out what causes what. And they put together all the causes and conditions and create something that was never there before. What does that mean? What is that never there before? This is a very important part to understand. No? Now you have a box of match. You have a match in your other hand, and then you have the desire to strike, and then you strike the match. What happened? The fire get ignited. So when the fire ignited, it can do many things, but was the fire there before? Before, there was a box of match, there was a match, there was your desire to strike, and you strike, all those were there, but fire was not there. So being the ultimate wise person in the whole 3 world, Buddha find out 2,600 years ago, way before all these scientists find out by finding causes and conditions, you can create marvels, you can change things, you can speed up, you can slow down, All these things can be done by understanding the causes and conditions that create certain things. And this is what we call wisdom. Now, all the scientists, like physicists, they apply that principle into the world of physics. Chemists apply the oh, for some reason it was cut connected. So they create marvels. Now, what did the Buddha do? Being the wise people are the people who see the causes and conditions of how things operate. But do we call all scientists are wise people? No. We don't call scientists wise people. We call them intelligent people. Intelligent people can figure out things and use their knowledge to make our lives easier and better and richer and prosperous. But what did the Buddha do 2,600 years ago? For the first time in the whole three worlds, universe, Buddha is the first one to find out all the necessary related causes and conditions about life. Life is not your life or my life, everybody's life, including the animals and insects and hungry ghosts and devas, Brahmas, they are all beings, meaning we are all beings. Beings means operating hardware and software unit, operating unit of hardwares and software. Hardware is the body, software is the mind. When these two are together, that's a unit, and it's constantly operating. Even when you are sleeping, your mind and body is operating. Buddha found out all the necessary secrets, things that we never knew before, never heard before. Pubbe ananusutesu dhammesu. Things that we have never heard before. Chakkung udapadi, panya udapadi. Panya means wisdom. Huh? Panya udapadi, vidya udapadi. Vidya means science. You all know vidya means science, right? Buddha used the word vidya in his first sermon 2,600 years ago when he gave the first talk to 5 ascetics, 5 followers of the Buddha. Chakkung udapadi, jnanang udapadi, panya udapadi, vidya udapadi, aloko udapadi. Monagaranda, about what? Pubbe ananusutesu dhammesu, about things that we have never heard before. This is how we experience problems of life. All human beings, all other beings, including the devas, including the Brahmas, Deva also experience frustration and fear. When they are fighting with the asuras, they are constant in fear. And when they are getting old and they are going to lose their life in heaven, although devas are so scared because they are going to lose all the beautiful things that they have in the heavenly world, and they are so afraid of losing. And they can see that their clothes are getting old, and that means dirty, and then they know they are going to lose their lives and reborn somewhere else, not in heaven anymore. It could be the human world, it could be the animal world, it could be the hell being. Some people come from heaven to hell because they have done a lot of bad karma. But one good thing that they did push him into heaven in the last minute, and they stay there enjoying the pleasure in the heaven. And as soon as their lifespan is over, their karma that put them in the heaven is over, they have to come down. So now they are experiencing frustration. So even in the heavenly world, even in the Brahma world, you have a lot of pain. That's what the Buddha found out. All human beings, all other beings in the universe experience a lot of frustration and fear, and they want to get out of it, but they don't know how. And therefore, they keep doing things that they put them back in situation where they experience suffering. And they keep going. What happened? You die. Everybody thinks that today's world, even in the time of the Buddha in India, they thought, there are some people who thought life is done. After you die, everything is over. Until you live, enjoy life. Have a good time. Even you don't have money, you borrow it and enjoy life. And after you die, everything is over. But someone like the Buddha, who has generated very, very efficient tools. For example, a telescope is a tool. Microscope is a tool used to see things that we normally don't see. What are the tools that Buddha developed at the Enlightenment? He developed psychic tools. He can refine the brain. He refined the brain to the fullest, so he can use the brain to remember 100 lives in the past. Where were you? What were you doing? Maybe 200 lives, 1,000 lives, 10,000 lives. His tool that is called Pubbe Nivasanusati is a psychic tool. It's not a physical object like in the lab, but he can see. And he can look at the person's face and see what he's thinking. Those are tools that normal people cannot see without a tool. But Buddha had the tools, he sees. And then he found out that we, all of us, keep going. In the samsara, what we call cycle of life and death. Keep going and going and going, and every life we are experiencing the same frustration and same fear and same depression and same sadness, and we keep doing the same thing, and as a result we suffer so much. Why? Because we have no idea what are the causes and conditions behind this frustration and fear that we call suffering. And we said Buddha was the wisest. That means he could see what are the causes and conditions that create all this suffering for us, and what causes us to continue without no stop. 10 lives, 100 lives, 1,000 lives, 10,000 lives, millions of lives going through the same frustration, and we all want to get out because we don't want to suffer. You know, when you talk to our friends, you hear that even we don't want to talk to other people. We ourselves know that how difficult the life could be. And some people think that life is so difficult, so painful, and I should kill myself and get out of this life. And then they think that they end the life, but that is not the end because it continues. They don't know. So this is why Buddhism is only addressing the causes and conditions. Like physics, it is a science subject. Physics is studying the physical world and world of physics and how things happen. And you use that knowledge to make things better or improve things that are not too good. But Buddha knew everything related to life. And then that is why Buddha was the most unique being in the whole universe. Because anyone who has life, they are Buddhist, they are non-Buddhist, they are Christians, they are Muslims, they are Hindus, they are Americans, they are Indians, they are Sri Lankans. No matter who you are, these teachings of the Buddha is 100% appealing to them, mainly because Buddha is talking about life. And if any of these people that I mentioned is alive and they are going through all these frustrations and fears, good times and bad times, and even the good times are there, then it changes that create frustration. So when Buddhism was studied here in the West, at one point when we are in the university in Sri Lanka and even in the high school in Sri Lanka at HSC level, there is a question, is Buddhism a philosophy or religion? Religion or a philosophy? And that means they somewhat knew Buddhism is not necessarily a religion. They found that Buddhism is something more than religion. Therefore, they created this question. They generated, Buddhism, is the Buddhism religion or philosophy? We all used to think that Buddhism is a great religion. Out of all the religions, Buddhism is a great religion. And then at that time, they figure out, and Buddhism is not just a religion, but it's a great philosophy. And after a while, they started saying, Buddhism is not just a philosophy, it is a way of life that help us to live comfortably. The way of life that help us to live comfortably, happily. So now we know it is not a philosophy. Then when I came to America 50 years ago, when I teach Buddhism to graduate students here in California, I say Buddhism is not just a way of life. It is a psychology and psychoanalysis. Psychotherapy and psychoanalysis and psychotherapy, it's all talking about the mind. When you say dukkha, it's explaining the mind. Dukkha samudaya is explaining the other part of the same mind. Because dukkha samudaya, you know, the dukkha hetu, right? In Sinhalese. So, this is also part of the mind. And Dukkha Nirodha, it's also something that you experience in your mind. Lack of frustration, lack of fear, lack of suffering, lack of pain is experienced in the mind itself. So we call it Four Noble Truth. Is first two parts of the Four Noble Truth is psychoanalysis, analyzing the mind, and the third Noble Truth and the fourth Noble Truth is how to treat the mind, how to medicate the mind in order to remove all pains and frustrations and fears. So I call it Buddhism was a psychoanalysis and a psychotherapy than anything else. So if you are a person with mind, it doesn't matter you are Hindu, you can use Buddha's teaching and get better. Your life can be more rich and more fruitful compared to constantly experience suffering, because you change, like the causes and conditions you find out and you change certain things, and then Buddha tells us how to change, what to change, and then when there's such change, what happened, your frustration level, fear and pain is going down, and this is the method. So I used to call Buddhism is a psychoanalysis and a psychotherapy. But at that time, psychoanalysis is not that respected after a while. They thought it is Sigmund Freud and other people, that this is just another thing. But I didn't mean that way. I meant how to treat the mind is taught in Buddhism, A to Z. From beginning to end, everything is included in the Buddha's teaching. And I have been teaching like this for a while. And last few years, I changed it. I never say Buddhism is a psychoanalysis and a psychotherapy. Now I say Buddhism is the manual, owner's manual of life. If anything goes wrong in your computer, if anything goes wrong in your tape recorder, camera, or anything, you have the manual in the house. Even if your car, like you know that you get a manual when you get a car. But there's another manual that is just written for the mechanics. That manual is thousands of pages. If your car is a Mercedes or BMW or something, the mechanics manual is so huge. We have the owner's manual, which is very small, few pages, 100 pages maximum, maybe a very small little booklet. So that is the manual. Why? Because we need it for basic operation. When something goes wrong, we can get it fixed. If the fuse is gone off, we can turn on the hood and put the new fuse, and now your signals are working. That is what the manual is doing. Now, Buddhism, if you take Mangala Sutta, that's a small manual. Everything about your life is basically there. You take Metta Sutta, Karaniya Sutta, anything that you want, it's already there. Those are small manuals. If you want to get a super class manual, Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, First Sermon of the Buddha, complete manual. Everything is in there, but very little. So Buddha taught 45 years, and now the Dhamma is called manual, that big manual that mechanics get. But people like us who want to learn life extensively, you can use the little manual like little Dhamma talk, you listen to Dhamma talk here and there. And after listening to Dhamma talk 5-6 years, you know a lot of Dhamma, how life operates. But if you keep listening to the Dhamma for 10-15 years, you learn much more about your life. Then you think that if I really want to know what life is all about, the theory that you get through Dhamma talks and reading the Dhamma books, that is theory. First noble truth and the second noble truth is the Buddhist theory of human conditions, human life. And the third noble truth and the fourth noble truth is the practice. So when you learn science, you remember when in high school, if you learn science, any subject, science subject, you have theory classes, and then you have practical classes in the lab. And that way, science become part of you if you do that experiment yourself. But for all others who didn't do the practical side, practicals in the class, science class, you only know half of the science. Now this person who is listening to the Dhamma find out, actually, if you really want to understand what life is all about, you have to do the theory side, learn the theory side, go to the practicals. And then they think, oh, I need to seriously practice precepts, 8 precepts, 10 precepts, and then slowly you think, actually, if I really want to understand myself, I have to go to meditation. So you start some meditation, Metta Bhavana, then Anusati Bhavana, Buddha Anusati, Dhamma Anusati. Then you think that I need to do some other bhavanas. Then you do, I don't know if many people do it, smart people who know that Dharma can be understood not only through theory, but also through practice. If there's no practice, you never become a Buddhist. Buddhist means smart person, no? Buddhist means a smart one. So this is for the children, no? If you say I am a Buddhist, that means I am smart and I am trying to be smarter. I am a nice person. I am trying to be nicer. That means I am a practicing Buddhist. So you apply certain things at your home, being nice to your mom, being nice to your grandparents. That is called being nice. What is being nice? Being nice means practicing sila. So if your mom and dad teach you how to be a nice person, even to your classmates who are giving you hard time, bullying you, if your mom tells them you have to be nice to them, you have to be kind to them, you have to practice metta towards them. Before you go to meditation, go to sleep, you wish them well. And after a few years, those kids who are bullying you, they turn around and they become your best friends. Why? Because in your mind, you are practicing metta towards those bad people. So immediately you find out the benefit of practice of metta. So sila means practice of metta, being nice to other people. When you observe 5 precepts, when you observe 10 precepts, you are learning to be nice. You are learning to be proper. You are learning not to hurt the feelings of the people around you. other little animals around you, little insects around you. And later on, when you're growing up, you know, even you have to be nice to the plants. Even you have to be nice to the water in the well. You don't defile the well that everybody's getting water. So you protect the water. Why? Because you know it is important to be nice, right? Just nice means not to hurt the feelings or not to hurt anyone, even by words or by body. That's called sila. You practice sila. But all what you're doing is trying to be nice as possible. When you try to be nice as possible, what happens? You become better at it every day, every month, every year. You become better at being nice. That's what you call practice. Buddhists are not worshippers. So, you know, we go to church, people, and we call it place of worship. I'm going to church. That is our place of worship. That's what they say. When you go to temple, what is it? Is there a place of worship? No. It is a place of practice. Buddhism, Buddhist temple is a place of practice. So there are a lot of people, and you try your best to behave in a way that you don't step on anyone. You train yourself at the temple. And when you go to village, when you go to the city, when you go to the school, you can apply same things that you learn out at the temple. And so then they all think that you are a nice person. Why 5 precepts is so important? 5 precepts are not precepts for us to control ourselves. 5 precepts are some guidelines that we use to control is not a good word, refine. Some 5 precepts are some guidelines. I call it resolution. You know, New Year's, during the New Year's, we observe resolution. This year, I'm going to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, no matter what. All this time I was sleeping until my mom get mad at me and yell at me and all this. I was sleeping. But my resolution for 2021, January 1st, you are thinking, or April 14, you are thinking, and my resolution is to get up at 5, get up at 6 in the morning, no matter what, and get ready for the school and practice a little bit, whatever look at the books and go through the notes or something like that. So that's your resolution. I try my best to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. That's your resolution. And 5 precepts are resolution. 5 resolutions. I try my best not to hurt any beings. That's Panatipata. I try my best not to hurt anyone by taking that is belong to them by force or by stealing. That's a resolution. In my life, I will not take anything that is belong to other people which is not given to me by that person who own it. That's a resolution. I try my best not to hurt any person using my sexual desires, my sensual desires in the wrong way. So that is a resolution. I try my best not to lie to anyone and mislead someone intentionally. That's a resolution. And then I try my best not to get intoxicated and hurt myself and hurt somebody else. the more you, per moment that you get intoxicated, it's so easy for you to hurt somebody or hurt yourself. It's very simple. And these are the basic 5 guidelines that our lives, Buddhist lives, were guided by last 2,600 years. But once you determine to follow some guidelines, and you have to follow it. You try hard to follow it. This person who is decided to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, what happened? After 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, it's very hard. But after that, it is your second nature. Once you follow a resolution, it becomes your second nature. It's not difficult. Getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning is not difficult because you have been doing it. All the 5 guidelines for a nice person is called 5 precepts, 5 guidelines, 5 resolutions. Now, is that for Buddhist only? No. Buddhist, we observe Namo Tassa, Buddham Saranam Gacchami, Dhammam Saranam Gacchami. That is where the power, the extra power is in there. But following 5 guidelines that is recommended by the Buddha, you become a nicest person in the world, who is respected by everyone, who is loved by everyone. If you go to somebody's house, sleep over or something, and next morning when you leave that your friend's house, if you carry their jewelry bag with you, are you a nice person? No, you're not a nice person. They don't think that you're a nice person. They don't want you to come back again, right? And if you go to a party and get drunk and throw up all over the place, and you fall asleep, or something bad happened, you start a fight with your friends in the party, they all remember you as a ugly person, not a nice person, a stupid person. That's not what you want. Does it has to be a Buddhist? No. If a Christian is drinking, no good. If a Christian is not drinking, that is good. Why? It is loved by everyone. Protect everyone. So the 5 precepts are not only for Buddhists. Anywhere, any place, any religion in the world, if a person is following 5 guidelines of nice life, wholesome life, that person is respected by everyone, loved by everyone. So now you can see that being a Buddhist is, or following Buddhist principles, is not just for Buddhist. It's for anyone in the world. So if your friends are respecting you or loving you, you should basically know that you never lied to them. If they find out that you lied to your classmates or schoolmates, and then they know, even the teacher, if you lie to the teacher, now he loses the respect for you. And it's not giving any favors for you because your teacher knows that you are a liar. Does it have to be Buddhist? No. American students, same thing. Jewish students, same thing. Indian students, Hindu, same thing. So now you can see that Buddhism, I'm not talking about this Dhamma talk, it's not about precepts, but you can, this is basically about how Buddhism is a manual for life. For one time, for example, manual has a section called troubleshooting. any manual if you get, in the end of the manual, there's troubleshooting. If this problem happened, this is how you fix it for yourself. You do this, do this, do this, then your computer will work, or your camera will work, or your tape recorder would work. That's troubleshooting. Majority of the Buddha's teaching is for troubleshooting. For example, if a family is falling apart, father is going one direction, mother is going one direction, kids are going in one direction, and this is happening among our friends that we know all the time, because we are in countries where a lot of people are governed by the major mental problem that Buddha found out. Buddha called it tanha. Major cause of the problem of all problems is tanha. What is tanha? Self-centered thinking. Tanha means self-centered thinking. People call it in the textbook, it call it craving, greed or desire. None of those. When the Buddha meant by tanha, that means self-centered behavior or self-centered thinking. If anywhere, anytime, doesn't matter what religion you are belong to and what country you are living in, if you are governed by strong self-centered thinking, you are bound to suffer, bound to have problems. As a husband, you are having problems. As a wife, you are having problems. As children, you're going to have problems. Why? You are self-centered people. So the main Buddha's teaching is what? How to minimize your self-centered behavior, how to minimize your self-centered thinking. So you become more caring and loving and person with metta, as opposed to self-centered people. So you should know what is the Buddha's recommendation for self-centered people? Eightfold Path. If you follow the segments of Eightfold Path at least a little, Samma Ditti, Samma Sankappa, forget all that, Samma Vacha. Samma Vacha means speaking nicely to people around you. So if you start constantly be careful about your words at your work, at your home, at the party that you go to, if you be so pleasant in your communication. What is the pleasant communication? Anything that you say is something that is beneficial to yourself and beneficial to others. That's a pleasant speech. Anything that is not true, you always say the right things, truth. That's a nice, right speech, Samma Vacha. Anything that is pleasant to hear, if you say something that is pleasant to hear, that's a nice speech, right speech. Practice this, you become selfless person at home. Everybody love you. Why? Every word that you say is almost so soothing to the people around you. Your mom and your dad and your uncle and your cousins and everybody is happy to hear pleasant communication, pleasant words. All what you're doing is taking one of the Eightfold Path and put it into practice. Buddhism is to practice. If you don't practice, you have no benefit from Buddhism. You can bring medicine from the hospital when you are sick, and if you don't take the medicine, there's no use. So it's very important that you put what you learn, the Dhamma from the Dhamma, put into practice at least a little bit at a time. So when you practice, it's hard because why it is hard? Because we are doing things that people don't normally don't do. People get mad at somebody and yell at it. Then I am trying, when somebody does upset me, I'm trying not to get mad and not to yell at. It's hard. But mindfully, you try it again one time, and second time you get better. Third time you get even better. Fourth time you get even better. That's how all the enlightened people like the Buddhists, Buddha was just like us before, get mad at every little thing and, hurt some other people whenever he want. And he doesn't care about other people. Long time ago, Buddha was like that. But he practiced, keep practicing, and he became the nicest person in the world, most compassionate person in the whole world. That happened. Okay, so basic, what we have to remember is that not like in Sri Lanka. In Sri Lanka, most of the people here lot of Dharma, but they don't pick up anything that they can really use in that week, in that month. You went to the Dharma, you listen to the Dhamma talk, and you pick up one thing, I'm going to apply this to my life. They don't do it. But in America, a lot of people listen to Dhamma, learn Dhamma, and immediately they think, oh, my mind is so crooked. I need to go to meditation. A lot of people, about everything, they go to meditation. And then they learn, you came to meditate, but if you are not nice to your husband, nice to your wife, nice to your children, meditation is not going to work for you. You have to have the basic skills. You have to have the basics to study, learn more. And then they come home and they think about, when I first came to America, they don't like the precepts. So I didn't say that these are Buddhist precepts. I said to them that these are Buddhist resolution to be a nice person. Everybody like to be a nice person because they know that everybody love you when you are a nice person. It is hard for me to be a nice person, but this is a guideline. By using this tool, 5 Sikkapada. Sikkapada is not precept, no? Sikkapada means guidelines, training guidelines. Sikka means training, pada means steps, training steps. But we say precept, they all get scared. Oh, I don't want to restrict my freedom of my life. That's what American thinks when they hear the word precepts, right? And when I first came, I don't talk too much about precept, never use the word precept. At the beginning I did, because I didn't know. I thought that's a good word. Precept is a good word that we can use in Buddhism. Anyway, so now we know better. After being in America for so long with American students and American people, we know these things are not good words to use. Translate differently. Same word. Translate differently. I translate tanha as self-centered thinking, selfish behavior. They all understand that. Craving? No. Craving for your children? No. You can crave your children. You can have your children. You can love them. You can take care of them. But you cannot be selfish. That's the idea in Buddhism. So anyway, so today, I think our time is over. Now, as I mentioned earlier, all of you are very lucky, very fortunate to be able to hear some Dhamma on Saturday evening like today. Tomorrow is a free day, and now you can think about some of the things that you heard, and you can refine your life. Now, refining. Refining means something that is dirty is washing and making it clean. What is the thing that is dirty? That is our mind. As our mind is dirty, we are bound to experience a lot of problems. Everywhere you go, you will have so much problems because your system is corrupt. If your system is corrupt, you're going to experience a lot of trouble. Refining means fixing your system. So following Dhamma is learning how to fix, and practicing Dhamma means actually applying the method of fixing or refining your mind. So now the Dhamma topic I recited today was Yocha Pubbe Pamajjitva Pachaso Nappamajjati Soimang Lokang Pabhaseti Abbamutto Chandima. Some people hear the Dhamma, hear the teachings of the Buddha, since when started junior high in Sri Lanka, and then you went to Dharma school maybe when you were little, and you heard the Dharma and you learned the Dharma, but you never practice. Because you're so negligent. Pamajjitva means negligent. You have been negligent all this time. Now you are even married. You still don't pay attention to what you learn in the Dharma school or what you learn from the Dhamma talks, but you didn't pay attention to what is the Dhamma books written by all these wonderful monks. And that is called negligence. You just don't care. Because we are so busy with making money, taking care of our children, going to work, and all the things make us so occupied. And then we have no time to think about what is most important. What is the most important? Your own life. We forgot the most important thing and we pay attention to less important things. Your work and your bank account and all these things are totally useless. You can be a millionaire and you are fighting with your wife or husband and you get a divorce and it's very frustrating and your kids are mad at you and hating you and all these things happen. What is the point of being a millionaire? No point. Because you didn't fix your life, which is most important. That is why Buddha paid attention to the most important subject of whole universe, oneself, yourself, myself. You have to know. That is why Buddha's teaching is appealing to all people, all the world. So if the Jewish person or Hindu person or Christian think that Buddhism is not for us, that's a big mistake. Because religion is believing in something. But we are, Buddhists are teaching you about how your life works and what are the things that you take care of in your life. If you don't take care of these things, you are going to experience a lot of problems and frustration and fears. And therefore, it doesn't require you to be a Buddhist. No, you don't have to be a Buddhist to follow the Dharma. What I was going to tell you earlier, now I have no time. What are the reasons, conditions that family is falling apart? What is the reason for family to fall apart? Buddha would say, oh, okay, in your family, you don't practice sharing. You have to practice sharing. If you keep things away for you, not sharing with your wife, not sharing with your children, you are acting selfishly. That means you're going to have a lot of trouble in your family. Practice of sharing is very important if you want to have a wholesome life, wholesome family life. So, present communication. If you hurt the feelings of your wife, feeling of your children, feeling of your husband, feeling of the people around you, your employees, how can you have a happy family life? You cannot. Family life is going to be destroyed because you have not applying something very essential for a healthy family life. Priyavachana. Very simple. Buddha knew exactly. What is the next one? You have to treat your husband or wife as your best friends, not as you are better than, you are making more money than your wife, or I'm making more money than my husband. You put in the different places. No, we are all equal. You treat everyone equally. Then your children, even the children, you have to discuss with your children before you decide to make a major step in your family. So that means your children are included in your decision. So that way they feel closer to the parents, closer to the grandparents, things like that. So Buddha knew what are the conditions that make a family a strong family or weak family. You don't want to have a weak family, because weak family is very frustrating. Every day you come home and you don't even like to spend too much time in your house, because it's a hell. So anyway, so today's Dhamma talk is about refining yourself, putting the effort to refine yourself. More you refine yourself means refine your mind and unclutter your mind and clean up your mind, because mind with clutter and mind with so much defilements are going to bring you so much frustration and so much fear that you never want to have. And that's what the Dhammapada Gatha is. Yocha Pubbe Pamajjitva. That means even if you are young and strong, you are trying to make money and be rich and be famous. Later on in your life, once you are 25 or 30, you can start refining your mind. You are still good. And you are 50 years old, you can start following the Dhamma and refine your mind. Not believing in anything that Buddha said, but applying the Dhamma to your life and refine your life at age 50. Age 60, you can still do it. All this time I was busy with all the other things in life. Now I know what is most important, that is refining my own life. So I'm going to do it now. So anyway, that is the Gatha. Even you fail to refine yourself in the early part of the stage, even at the later part of your life, if you start practicing, start paying attention to Dharma, then you are still good. So that is the message for you today. And today's Dhamma talk is sponsored by Mr. Bandula Nanayakara and Mrs. Tilaka Nanayakara.